Chevrolet Cadillac, your super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Caffrey near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive. Silverado dealer discount $6,000, GM rebate $6,000, 2012 or newer trade assist $1,000, LT or RST package 5.3 V8, Trax dealer discount $2,500, GMF down payment $500. All offers plus tax, title, and license. Excludes $436 stock, $15 notary, and $23 convenience. In stock units. See dealer for details. Offers expire 8/3/26. Claims based on current GM data.
Delta Home Center and Delta Trailer Sales, your one-stop shop for utility and cargo trailers. Heavy-duty dump and gooseneck trailers, portable buildings, cabins, decks, porches, fences, carports, and site-built metal shops. Located at Exit 7 in Carencro or at deltatrailersales.com.
The national anthem on ESPN 1037 and 1041 is powered each morning by Nolan's Lawnmower Sales and Service. Proud to serve Southwest Louisiana.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up!
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys! Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros had quite the weekend. They swept the Texas Rangers, securing a Lone Star Series for the season and grabbing first place in the American League West in the process. Houston has now won 6 games in a row and sits 58-55, 2.5 games clear of the Texas Rangers. They'll face the Toronto Blue Jays tonight at 7:10 p.m. right after today's Major League Baseball trade deadline. And speaking of the deadline, it was the rich getting richer over the weekend. The Los Angeles Dodgers landed Tigers ace Tarek Skubal for a package that includes 3 prospects. Skubal is the back-to-back reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League and joins an already loaded first-place Dodgers team. Clubs have until today's 5 o'clock p.m. Central deadline to make moves. LSU got some good news over the weekend on the baseball side of things. Standout high school pitcher Logan Schmidt announced that he will be attending LSU after all. Schmidt was committed to the Tigers but was selected in the MLB draft and was also considering junior college. He joins Jay Johnson's roster for the 2026 season as a left-handed pitcher. The New Orleans Saints began training camp last week and have already lost a couple of expected contributors. After Brian Brzez's knee injury on the first day of camp, the news over the weekend was that wide receiver Jalen Polk has unexpectedly retired from football at age 24. On the PGA Tour, it was Michael Thorbjornsen winning for the first time as he took home the final Rocket Classic in Detroit, Michigan. And it was a sad weekend for the McNeese family as former Cowboys defensive back Levi Wyatt passed away in a car crash. I'm Dawson Angelo, and this has been your 2-minute drill on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
What is that?
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
That's right. Can you dig it?
It's time for 2 hours of the best sports talk on the airwaves.
Can you dig it?
The Jordy Hultberg Show with your host, the blonde bomber himself.
Can
Hultberg.
So much to discuss. The Astros are on a heater. 6 straight wins, 11 of their last 12. The trade deadline is 5 p.m. Will the AL West leaders make a deal or no deal? And the Dodgers? Oh, my. Jake Johnson got great news. He's got a 6'4" hard-throwing southpaw who was a second-round pick by Cleveland. No, he said to the MLB. JUCO? No. Tiger Town? Yes. Saints wide receiver Jalen Polk has surprisingly retired from the NFL at 24. Things get serious at camp as the pads come on for the first time this morning. LSU football players report Tuesday. First practice is Wednesday. Going from a 7-6 season to expectations of being a college football playoff team. Every moment becomes critically important. At least we'll be able to talk actual football instead of the Protect College Sports Act, 5 for 5 eligibility, and an Ole Miss lawsuit. All these stories and a whole lot more today, Monday, August 3rd, 2026. And with that, we say top of the morning to you and yours, all you kiddos. Enjoy it. Summer's about to come to a close. School is on the horizon. Get in every little bit that you can while you can before the grind starts. And that's what LSU football players and other college teams are doing today. As report time is tomorrow and camp begins on Wednesday. With that, we say again, good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for getting up and including us in your morning. Pour yourself another cup of Joe, and here we go. Dawson Iserlo navigating us today in his role as producer. He's inside our Beal and Bear studios on the campus of Delta Media, where you will find ESPN 1037 Lafayette. Head west, thrilled to be on ESPN 1041 in Lake Charles. But you know, with modern technology, we're everywhere you go, wherever that may be. Just download our free mobile app, ESPN Southwest Louisiana.com. Our guests appear to us each and every day via our ESPN hotline. And this hour of the program is brought to you by Sweet Spot. Sweet Spot was started because we all kind of miss playing games like we did when we were a kid, getting on our bike, riding through the neighborhood, getting our friends, finding a yard or a field, and just playing ball. Sweet Spot was designed for a wide variety of sports equipment engineered to be used in the backyard. If your kids need safe, affordable gear to learn with, or just something fun to play with at home, Sweet Spot has collections in everything from baseball to softball, football, pickleball, soccer, golf. Products are fun to use, they're easy on the wallet, and a lot easier on your windows than the real thing. Go to playsweetspot.com. Playsweetspot.com and order today. So with that in mind, let's get some headlines out there, Blake. Dawson, let's go.
Extra, extra, listen all about it.
Did you miss the biggest sports headlines of the day? Not to worry. The Blonde Bomber has you covered. Here is Hultberg's headlines.
Jordan Alvarez tied a career high with 4 hits. Jeremy Pena hit a home run, and the Houston Astros used a 4-run 7th inning to pull away from the Texas Rangers 7-3 on Sunday and complete a series sweep. They won Game 1 11-2, Game 2 5-4, and Game 3 7-3. Houston's 58 up, 55 down. Winners of 6 straight, 11 of their last 12. That combined with the Texas Rangers losing 5 in a row, and now Houston with a 2.5-game lead over the Rangers in the AL West, with Seattle lurking behind on a 2-game win streak, just 3 games in back. Toronto is next as they try to keep this thing going. With the trade deadline coming up at 5 p.m. today. Are they going to make a deal? Are they not going to make a deal? Usually when you get on a winning streak and you're on a heater, you don't want to change things up, but still need some bullpen help. Wouldn't hurt to get another bat in the lineup. We'll see what happens today. The rich did get richer. Not that they needed him like other teams may have needed him, but using the system that has worked for them so much, Yeah, the Los Angeles Dodgers get Tarek Skubal in a predictable southwesterly direction. That means the back-to-back AL Cy Young winner is joining the back-to-back World Series champs. You're going to hear a lot about the competitive balance in baseball, how the Dodgers play into it, fair or not. Detroit gets three prospects in return. Relatively good haul. Two of them were in the top 70 of up and comers. Scooble, um, five pitches, including an upper 90s fastball and an otherworldly changeup. Who is going to beat the Dodgers? You tell me. And they're going to get some players back from injury. So we'll see. Former LSU Tiger, Toronto Blue Jay starter Kevin Gausman is heading to the Cubs in a deal that officially signals how quickly things can change in pro sports. Less than a year ago, Gausman was an anchor for a Toronto team that pushed the Dodgers to 7 games in the World Series. And now the Jays are sellers, and Kevin Gausman is going to the Chicago Cubs. The Yankees acquired Nationals infielder Luis Garcia Jr. is having a monster season in the nation's capital. Garcia adds instant power to a Yankees lineup sorely missing it without Aaron Judge. And earlier in the afternoon, the Rays traded for Mets starter Freddie Peralta. The Mets have the league's second highest payroll and are sellers at the trade deadline. So more to come, and we'll see what happens along the way. Jalen Polk, a second-round NFL draft pick just 2 years ago, and the New Orleans Saints were very high on him, is now heading to the reserve/retired list per an announcement from the Saints, who traded for him last summer. New England selected Polk out of Washington in the 2024 draft, but the 24-year-old struggled to find his place in the Pats offense. Now he's already out of the league. In a full circle move, Jadeveon Clowney signed a one-year deal with the Texans, who drafted him number 1 way back in 2014. Yes, a busy day on the links. First, on the women's side, a dramatic finish at Royal Lytham, where Yelami's Noah's 3-shot lead was quickly erased at the turn on the final day in a final round that only allowed 12 rounds under par. The theme of the day became who could hang on and avoid the lurking disasters. The eccentric Shiho Kuwaki, nicknamed Yellow Baller on tour for her brightly colored golf ball, navigated her final 13 holes bogey-free and outlasted last-minute heroics from Esther Heinzeleit. The 27-year-old German made a lengthy birdie putt on the 72nd hole to force a playoff, only to be derailed by a wayward tee shot and an unfortunate bounce off a volunteer in a gorse bush on the second extra hole. Kawaki claimed her first major championship with a pair of pars at 23 years young. Meanwhile, on the men's side, there was a first win at the last Rocket for the second straight week on the PGA Tour. An up-and-coming talent had found the winner's circle for the first time. Michael Thorbjornsen, a long-hitting 24-year-old out of Stanford, fired a bogey-free 63 to win the final edition of the Rocket Classic in Detroit by 2 shots. He hit 17 greens on Sunday, erased a 4-shot deficit, and holed a 25-foot birdie putt to seal the win. Not a bad day on the course for the youngsters. Yes, indeed. LSU baseball got some great news for Jake Johnson and all the LSU baseball fans out there, as left-handed pitcher Logan Schmidt announced he will indeed be a Tiger. Schmidt was the highest-ranked member of LSU's 2026 recruiting class, and not many gave him a thought about coming to LSU. He was going to get drafted and go. Well, drafted in the second round by the Cleveland Guardians, that even narrowed the most optimist LSU fan. But the two couldn't agree on a dollar figure. And so now here we are in August. That's icing on the cake for the Tigers, in which LSU added 7 top 100 signees who could have easily gone pro. Welcome the return of veteran Stephen Milam, the best shortstop in college baseball, according to many. So Jake Johnson must be quite ecstatic to say the very, very least. So, LSU football players are reporting tomorrow. Practice starts on Wednesday. I read where Sam Levitt and several of his wide receivers took a little trip to Dallas to work at the Throw It Deep Quarterback Academy. Levitt, fellow quarterback Landon Clark, uh, wide receivers Winnie Watson, tight end Trey Green, Jace Brown, Jackson Harris, Trey Wilson, Malik Easy, and Malachi Thomas. The players left on Thursday, returned on Sunday. So getting to know one another and doing what you need to do. A judge's ruling on Friday granted high school athletes from the class of 2022 an additional season of eligibility if they've exhausted 4 years of eligibility entering the 26-27 season. This has a lot of ramifications for LSU, particularly on the basketball front, where Will Wade's roster is still a bit of a mystery. It's hard to know what's going to come of all of this. NCAA lawyers have already stated they will appeal the decision. So wait and see. All right, so those are some of your headlines of the day. Our guest list this morning, Len West will join us. We'll talk all about LSU football as we're on the precipice of Lane Kiffin's first fall camp. Chris Rosewood will join us. The Saints will don pads for the first time during the training camp today. They've been through several practices, defense ahead of the offense, as you would expect, with a lot of newcomers on the offensive side of the ball. So where do things stand right here, right now? We'll talk to Chris about that. Then Cokie Riley sat down with Jay Johnson, got his thoughts on Logan Schmidt, his ball club. We'll talk to Cokie about LSU baseball. So that is our guest list for the day. We greatly appreciate you joining us. Again, brought to you by Sweet Spot, making sports and outdoors more accessible, more affordable, and more fun for everyone. Last minute vacation before school starts. You need something to do outside, play sweetspot.com. Going to grandma's house, play sweetspot.com. Having a backyard barbecue, play sweetspot.com. Sports and outdoors, more accessible, more affordable, and more fun for everyone. Dawson Isolo filling in this morning. I greatly appreciate that you're getting up early this morning for us. So with that in mind, Dawson, let's get our poll question of the day out there, please.
Yeah, Jordy, you mentioned it. Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers. The rich get richer. So we're asking you, what's going to be brought up a lot is this good for baseball? Are the Dodgers a good thing, having maybe a dynasty, an evil power to root against, or is it bad for the sport, or maybe it's somewhere in the middle? What do you make of it?
You know, until somebody changes the rules, what the Dodgers are doing is not illegal. That other teams could have stepped up and done it. They didn't need Tarek Scuba like maybe some other teams did, but even for them, he's a level upper. So good for them. Good for them. And maybe something good comes out of this in the long run. Maybe there will be some competitive balance. Maybe there will be a salary cap. But of course, the players are totally, totally against that. And if I'm a player, I would be too. Pay me as much money as I can. And if the Dodgers have more money than anybody else, well, gosh, go ahead. But Toronto almost beat them last year in the World Series. So you still got to step between the lines and play. But they've got an arsenal. So there you go. You know, so in answer to the question, is it bad for baseball? Well, it depends if who you are. If you're the Dodgers, you love it. If you're everybody else, you hate it. If you're the fans, you probably hate it. So in an essence, it probably is bad for baseball. But is it illegal? No, it's not at all. What do you think, Dawson?
Yeah, I mean, I would side on it being bad for the sport, but yeah, you're right. It's not the Dodgers' fault. They're operating underneath the guidelines they were given, and so that's on baseball, I suppose, for not having as strict the rules. Kind of the same thing going on right now with college recruiting. You go, hey, these players shouldn't be eligible. Well, that's not the school's fault that are trying to take them. That's the NCAA's fault, and whoever else didn't put these guidelines in ahead of time.
I'm with you. Yeah, you play within the rules, and you'll see. But this ruling by the courts, we'll see what this does to Will Wade's lineup and roster I still don't know what it is. He's not speaking. He's got to wait for these rulings to come in, and I don't know what happens if it's unfavorable. What does he do then? I know they got 4 or 5 people on campus, but you need more than 4 or 5 players. So we'll see. Interesting stuff. But soon we'll be able to actually talk the games and all that fun stuff. So there you go. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back with more stuff, including this college football dilemma of sorts. After this timeout, we'll be right back.
This is the Jordy Hultberg Show, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Thank goodness Drew Brees rewrote the NFL record books, and he led the Saints to a Super Bowl victory. We'll never forget it. Number 9 will slip on the gold jacket, have his bronze bust revealed, and be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. RP3, D-Lo, and Mesh will be there live in Canton, Ohio to witness it all with a live 3-hour special. Tune in this Friday from 12 to 3 for the Gold Standard, presented by Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers, right here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station.
Here is your weather update on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
Good morning, Acadiana. It's going to be a sunny and hot start to your work week. High of 95, low of 76. Plenty of sunshine and clear skies throughout the day, and winds coming out of the west-northwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Summer's in full swing, and that means hot summer savings at Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Take $12,000 off the MSRP on a new 2026 Silverado 1500, or take $13,000 off the MSRP with trade assistance. Take $5,000 off the MSRP on all new 2026 Chevy Traverses in stock. Plus, when you buy a new Chevy from Service Chevrolet Cadillac, it comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hurry to Acadiana's #1 Chevrolet dealership. Our family serving your family. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, your super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Caffrey near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive. Silverado dealer discount $6,000, GM rebate $6,000, 2012 or newer trade assist $1,000, LT or RST package 5.3 V8, Traverse dealer discount $5,000. All offers plus tax, title, and license. Excludes $436 stock, $15 notary, and $23 convenience. In stock units. See dealer for details. Expires 8/3/26. Claims based on current GM data.
Home electrical safety. Up next from Mr. Electric. Because one power strip can clearly handle your TV, your radio, your lamp, your phone charger, your heater, and whatever else you get plugged in there. Of course, that's sarcasm. Do not overload your outlets and never run cords under rugs or furniture. And if an outlet is hot, a breaker keeps tripping, or something smells suspiciously bad, call a licensed electrician. When it comes to electricity, trying to be a hero is a great way to end up in the news for the wrong reason.
If you would like to learn more, visit MrElectric.com.
It's generator season. Here's Sean Dore with Mr. Electric.
Standby generators are automatic. These come on right as your power's off. Right when you lose power, here comes your generator power within less than a minute. And now you're running like normal. And so those generators, they're a little more expensive, but they are very convenient.
Call Mr. Electric today or see us on Facebook.
At Cajun Chef, we only use the finest products, like our pickled okra and spicy pickled green beans, seasoned with our special Cajun flavor. It's so great for that special Bloody Mary. For you pepper lovers, Cajun Chef has the right kind of jalapeno peppers with just the right amount of spiciness, and it's excellent to pair with some nachos. A little dab of their signature hot sauce can make any meal amazing. Why not try Cajun Chef? When you do, you'll agree Cajun Chef is not just deliciously different, it's decidedly better. Cajun Chef.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
And we welcome you back. You know, if you haven't been to Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon lately, it's time to come back. The original Lafayette location is better than ever with 50 brand new high-definition TVs, an incredible 170-inch video wall, and improved views from nearly every seat. Whether you're catching the big game, meeting friends for Sunday fun day, planning a fantasy football draft, or grabbing takeout for the family, Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon is ready for you. It's not just a great place to watch the game, it's a great place to eat. Our menu is built around scratch-made dishes, bold Louisiana flavor, and generous portions that make Walk-Ons a favorite for lunch, dinner, family meals, and game day. Come for the game, but make sure you're hungry. Come check out Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon. It's bigger and better than ever. All right, with college football getting ready to crank up, it's time to talk about things on the field in a summer where we have been inundated with all the political goings-ons off the field. There was some widespread surprise Friday when the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten reversed course, and they expressed support for the bipartisan Protect College Sports Act. The bill has a narrow window before the congressional summer recess and November's midterm elections, and there's some major hurdles still. But what changed the SEC and Big Ten's collective mindset? Well, there had to be some political pressure, right? But apparently the big selling point was a provision that prevents schools from circumventing the revenue sharing cap through third-party deals. Under the Protect College Sports Act, schools would be allowed to pay players as much as $48.8 million annually. That according to CBSSports.com. Wow. And as important, the Protect College Sports Act would protect women's and Olympic sports, almost all of which operate at a financial deficit. Schools would be prohibited from reducing the number of varsity teams and roster participants below a threshold required for FBS membership. So that's a good thing out of this deal. Again, the bill has a long way to go to get across the finish line, but at least there's a chance. The PCSA has the potential to take college athletics off the unsustainable path it is currently on. And that would be great because schools have shown over and over again they're unable to police themselves when it comes to spending. There's got to be a limitation. There has to be. Also on Friday, a U.S. district judge in Denver ruled that all college athletes who graduated high school in 2022, whose clock ran out this spring, were eligible for a fifth season in 26 and 27. Charlotte Sweeney is the judge. She clarified her ruling yesterday, and this may change again. She said that her ruling doesn't override current transfer rules, roster limits, or revenue sharing caps. In other words, if a football team has a full roster for this fall, it can't just add a fifth-year player or exceed the revenue sharing cap. The NCAA, which adopted the 5-for-5 eligibility rule set to go into effect this fall, they're going to appeal this ruling for sure. Again, this could be a silver lining, this judge's ruling for LSU men's basketball and Coach Will Wade. He's still trying to build a roster for this upcoming season, a build-out hampered by new NCAA restrictions on players who have competed in foreign professional leagues. Programs with open roster spots and revenue sharing funds could be landing spots for class of 2022 players seeking a fifth year. So stay tuned. This ruling highlights the need, hopefully addressed by the Protect College Sports Act, to steer college athletics away from players and schools seeking out a friendly judge to grant their eligibility. That's got to stop as well. Got to stop as well. So, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll get away from this Ole Miss LSU lawsuit with Princewell Umanmielen, offensive lineman Devin Harper. Both signed revenue sharing agreements with Ole Miss before jumping in the portal in January to find Lane Kiffin, follow Kiffin to LSU. I can see both sides of this thing. Contract should be a contract, and both players should be beholden to Ole Miss for the deals they signed. If you're an LSU fan, it sure makes Ole Miss look rather petty, especially since it's also asking for the reimbursement of legal fees. I just wonder if two players left Ole Miss and decided to go to, I don't know, Utah State, or let's make it something better. If they went to Michigan, would they do this? Would they do this, or is this simply them just trying to get another jab in at their vilified former coach? I wonder if this would be an issue or an issue at all. We'll never know, but it's there, and these players, along with LSU's help, going to figure something out to get Ole Miss their money back. It's just another log on the fire for September 19th in Oxford. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. We'll see what happens. But now, soon, we'll be able to actually talk football. We'll know more today as far as what the media will be allowed to cover, how many days, how long they'll be able to cover practices. And that will all get underway on Wednesday. So let the fun begin. We'll take a time out here. When we come back, Glenn West will join us, and we'll talk all things LSU sports, some of the key headliners for this upcoming season, some of the big critical games. We know Ole Miss is one. They got to go to Tennessee. Is Alabama ever not a critical game? Of course it is. Texas A&M, you betcha. But they got some games on the road with new coaches that are going to be maybe the makers or breakers of this season. Anybody considering what's going on at Kentucky and other schools? Auburn, not going to be easy, particularly on the road with new head coaches and bringing their own enthusiasm to the program. So we'll talk all things LSU with Glenn West when we return. Again, brought to you by Walk-Ons. The new Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon is better than ever. The original Lafayette location completely upgraded its sports viewing experience and now offers even more reasons to visit, from 50 brand new high-definition TVs and a massive 170-inch video wall for fantasy football drafts, NFL Sundays, Friday night light gatherings, takeout tailgate platters, and catering for groups of any size. Come on. Come for the game, but make sure you're hungry for Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon.
This is the Jordy Hultberg Show, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
With storm season ever arrived, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station, and Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley bring you these hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home or bring in outdoor items before the storm makes landfall. Have an emergency kit stocked with water, food, and medications. Know your evacuation routes and listen to local authorities. Stay informed with a battery-powered radio and make sure you have fresh batteries. Remember, safety is in your hands. These hurricane preparedness tips are powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros had quite the weekend. They swept the Texas Rangers, securing the Lone Star Series for the season and grabbing first place in the American League West in the process. Houston has now won 6 games in a row and sits 58-55, 2.5 games clear of the Texas Rangers. They'll face the Toronto Blue Jays tonight at 7:10 p.m. right after today's Major League Baseball trade deadline. And speaking of the deadline, it was the rich getting richer over the weekend. The Los Angeles Dodgers landed Tigers ace Tarek Skubal for a package that includes 3 prospects. Skubal is the back-to-back reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League and joins an already loaded first-place Dodgers team. Clubs have until today's 5 p.m. Central deadline to make moves. LSU got some good news over the weekend on the baseball side of things. Standout high school pitcher Logan Schmidt announced that he will be attending LSU after all. Schmidt was committed to the Tigers but was selected in the MLB draft and was also considering junior college. He joins Jay Johnson's roster for the 2026 season as a left-handed pitcher. The New Orleans Saints began training camp last week and have already lost a couple of expected contributors. After Brian Brzez's knee injury on the first day of camp, the news over the weekend was that wide receiver Jalen Polk has unexpectedly retired from football at age 24. On the PGA Tour, it was Michael Thorbjornsen winning for the first time as he took home the final Rocket Classic in Detroit, Michigan. And it was a sad weekend for the McNeese family as former Cowboys defensive back Levi Wyatt passed away in a car crash. I'm Dawson Angelo, and this has been your 2-minute drill on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Drew Brees set a new standard for quarterback play, and now the Saints legend will be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. RP3, D'Lo, and Mesh will be there for this historic occasion with a special 3-hour live broadcast from Canton, Ohio. Tune in Friday, August 7th for the Gold Standard. Presented by Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. Right here on ESPN, 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us. 800-819-8313. 800-819-8313. 800-819-8313. That's 800-819-8313.
If you're looking for quality air duct cleaning services, turn to Ducks. We are the trusted name in air duct and HVAC cleaning because we utilize industry-leading methods, advanced technology, and effective techniques. Our team of highly trained professionals has the knowledge and the insight to tackle even the most stubborn buildup. We carefully inspect the property before creating a customized cleaning plan, including recommended actions and next steps. Choose Ducks. D-U-C-T-Z.
You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, and your home for the LSU Tigers.
Welcome back. ShopRite Tobacco Plus Discount Outlets welcomes you to one of their 60 plus shops around southern and central Louisiana. They're rooted in love and grown in Louisiana with a simple mission statement. We love serving the community and seeing you, the customer, leave with a smile on your face. If you're hungry, check out our Bourbon Street Deli. Always fresh, always hot, always great to grab and go. Their pulled pork barbecue sandwich is divine. Do you buku? Well, download our app and start saving a day at the pump and in the store. Look, when you go to ShopRite Tobacco Plus, you're going to notice some things. One, absolutely pristinely clean. Number two, a great selection of products. Three, all at great prices. So whether your needs are fresh food, fuel, top shelf wines or spirits, or just a quick pit stop, we look forward to serving you. I say it every day, dude, if you can't shop right at ShopRite Tobacco Plus Discount Outlets, you just can't shop right at all. And that's the truth. Here for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth is our good friend from On 3, Glenn West, who joins us yet again on a Monday to talk all things LSU. Good morning, Glenn. You getting in shape, baby? You only got today and tomorrow. Then it's maybe on the practice field Wednesday, buddy. How are you?
We're ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. Want to get there on Wednesday, hopefully, and have a good first day, and hopefully a good next month before we finally get to some games here. So looking forward to it.
So much change is coming from a team that went 7-6 overall, 3-5 in the conference. Now you got 9 conference games. You got a brutal schedule. You got a new coaching staff for the most part, and you got a ton of new players. Where do we begin with this season? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you got to begin with kind of the offense, right? I mean, this is the reason you bring Lane Kiffin in here is to fix what was really wrong with your offense last year. And, he obviously brings a scheme that's worked really, really well from his time at Ole Miss that he's crafted over the last 5 or 6 years, mainly with Charlie Weiss Jr. as his offensive coordinator. And so I think when you mesh what Lane Kiffin and this offensive scheme can do with the kind of players that LSU was able to bring in this year, I think you should expect some pretty rapid improvement there pretty quickly. And, I think when you walk in there for day one of camp and Sam Levitt's expected to be 100% and, doing all the drills and everything and working with the team, I think that's something you really got to keep a close eye on. I'm sure everybody will dart right towards Levitt, right towards the offense where the quarterbacks are. And so I think, early in fall camp, it'll be very interesting to see just kind of how much work that you can tell they've put in this summer and how much it might translate to, timing with the receivers and just the overall comfortability, I think, with the way the offense is moving.
Levitt finally spoke for the first time at the LSU annual women's football clinic called the Huddle on July 30th. He talked about his decision to leave Arizona State, come to LSU, and he talks about how this is a place where you practice against pros, you learn how to be a pro, and you hopefully become a pro.
Yeah, I think that was the right response, and that's the right mentality you should have as a player that wants to come in and compete at the highest level in college football. And the SEC and the grind that they're going to be facing here week in and week out, this is going to be a really good next month for him to really kind of figure out, okay, well, if we're seeing this in practice against our defense, we can expect to see a lot more of it, when the real games start. And so I think he's aware of that, and he's aware that, a lot of the success of this team rests squarely on his shoulders, and LSU paid him handsomely to come in and meet those expectations. So we'll see kind of what happens and what it looks like when the games start. But I think from everything we've heard, he's approached it with the right mindset this offseason, even after he'd been fully cleared for football activities. He's done all the right things and seems to be hitting the ground running here with fall camp starting this week.
When you look at tape of him, 2 years ago when he took them to the college football playoffs and had such a good run there with Scadaboo and company with him, he fits what you see with a Lane Kiffin quarterback. And CBS Sports did this deal where they broke down and they talked about the best scramblers and the best runners in college football from the quarterback spot. And they said that his avoidance rate is like 83%, but he averages 9.4 yards per scramble, the 6th best mark among the quarterbacks in the study, which included Arch Manning, some other ones. But uh, I like the fact of his mobility, and hopefully he's healthy and stays healthy. Because when you get out there and do those kind of things, you put yourself in harm's way. But he looks like a big kid, but he's the kind of quarterback. If Lane Kiffin has a good quarterback, he wins. And if Sam Levitt's the guy, man, there's no telling how good this offense could be.
It felt like a seamless fit when we first started to hear his name rumbling. I mean, this was, back in December or November, like there were rumblings that he could be entering the transfer portal. And so when LSU hired Lane Kiffin, when, they started, really looking at the transfer portal, I think Levitt's name was one that they had circled for a while. And so and part of what makes Levitt so great and part of what makes this offense such a perfect fit for him is that there is a built-in improvisational kind of element to it. When plays break down, they like to have a quarterback that can make plays with his legs or extend a passing play and be able to get out of the pocket and make throws on the run, that kind of thing. And you've seen that the last several years that Ole Miss had quarterbacks like Chambliss and Jackson Dart before him, and so Levitt can absolutely fit into that mold of quarterback. And I think the scrambling ability that each can show is going to be a real difference maker for this offense if he's 100% healthy and ready to go like we all expect.
In Lane and in Charlie, we trust. I'm not worried about the offense.
I'm really not either. Yeah.
He creates space. He creates the ability for his skill position people to get open and to get the ball. I'm not worried about that. I think for this team to be a championship college football playoff contender, just what kind of step is this defense going to make? What have the additions that they have made with Blake Baker's concept? How does he change? How does he alter things to best utilize what these players do well? I think if this becomes a top 10 defense nationally, then I think this team has a chance to go from 7-6 to go a long way better than that.
Oh, if they're a top 10 defense, you're talking about a title contender because I mean, like they were a top 30 group last year, and let's face it, like LSU's offense didn't score more than 25 points in conference play or in games that really mattered in the Power Four that they played last year. The only reason they were 7-6 last year was because the defense was able to hold up somewhat and be a pretty good group for them last year. And so if they can improve upon what they did last year. You've lost some key pieces, of course, Mouncer Delane being the main one, but I feel like they've replenished it and then some with guys like Ty Benefield at safety. You're hoping that DJ Pickett and PJ Woodland can take that next step as cornerbacks. You got to keep them healthy though, because I think the one maybe area of concern for me is kind of the depth piece to this for the defense. Like you can't be losing a bunch of starters throughout the course of the regular season on that side of the ball. But also up front on the defensive line, when you go in and you add a star level pass rusher like Princewell Uman he's got difference maker ability that I don't think they've really had at that spot under Baker. I think Braden Swinson was about as close as they came a few years ago. But having a guy that can consistently put pressure in the backfield will only help open up this scheme even more because it is a very aggressive scheme that Blake Baker likes to run. They like to blitz from all kinds of creative areas and ways, and the amount of pressure that I think this defense and this front seven in particular have a chance to put on opposing offensive backfields, I think is really going to help this overall product on that side of the ball this fall.
Glenn West with us. We haven't talked about him because we haven't seen him. He did it the old-fashioned way. He graduated like normal most students do in the spring. Wasn't an early enrollee, but it's not often you get the number one player in the country to come your way, and that's Lamar Brown. And he's another key component. Does he play inside offensive line? Does he play on the outside of the offensive line? Just how good is he? How quickly can he have this learning curve? But I'm very curious to see the top prospect in the country is on your campus.
He's one of the biggest X factors, in my opinion, on the entire team because I do think that there's going to be an expectation for him to contribute right away. Lane Kiffin talked about it in the spring. This isn't any kind of breaking news or anything, but they brought him in because they felt like they kept him in this class when they first arrived because they felt like he could impact the defense very, very early in his career. And so he's done a really great job from everything I've heard and seen this offseason about keeping his body in check and being ready to maybe hit contribute as a defensive end slash interior D lineman. And he, I think one of the main strengths of his game is that he can be pretty versatile on the defensive line. And so they need to have somebody opposite of Uman Mielen that can really apply pressure and consistently do it so that all the attention isn't on him. And I think Lamar Brown and Jordan Ross are the two names that really pop as guys that are going to have to really contribute on the opposite side of the defensive line, so you can really open up things for Uman Mielen on the other side as well. So it's a two-way street there, right? You're hoping that star pass rusher Uman Mielen can make some really big time plays for you, but I think the best way for him to do that is to be in one-on-one opportunities, and the best way you can get one-on-one matchups is that there's somebody on the other side that's also able to get after the quarterback. And I think Lamar Brown has a chance to be exactly that for LSU.
Glenn, Tyler Shough takes the Saints out to San Diego, and they work on getting the quarterback and wide receivers all in sync. LSU goes to Dallas to the Throw It Deep Quarterback Academy. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, this was their final week before they kind of really start ramping up everything this week, obviously with fall camp, and this is kind of their final week off. And so I think the quick getaway trips, the fact that they're still working when they get on these trips, I think is really encouraging. It's really something that you should take note of as an LSU fan, that these guys aren't slacking. Like they realize that maybe there's some off time here in the week before fall camp, but they're still working out and getting throws in and things of that nature. You saw Richard Anderson also post on social media this last weekend. He was at the facility doing different technique drills in the sand and things of that nature. And he's like I think this is a team that understands that it has a lot of talent and a lot of ability. And the big question mark for it is just how can all these new players come together and form a team. And I think the amount of time that they're spending together this offseason is going to really be a great indicator for that answer.
No question. Let's play just if. Let's say that Sam Levitt wasn't healthy. From what you saw in spring, who would be the starting quarterback if he were not available?
I would say Husan Longstreet probably has the edge. I think he showed maybe a little bit more consistency over the last few weeks in particular. He had a great connection with Winston Watkins, had a great connection with Jackson Harris, who have been two of the wide receivers that have really been talked about a lot this offseason. I think there were a lot of mistakes early from both him and Landon Clark, and that should be expected because they're both two young quarterbacks in a new system. But I think Longstreet really developed and improved over the course of spring, and I would guess that he carries that momentum over here into fall camp and is probably your QB2 by September 5th when Clemson game comes around.
All right, we shall see. So we'll find out today what the availabilities will be. I'm guessing not as much as Brian Kelly, but more than what Nick Saban provided. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I hope so. We got more than I expected in the spring, and I realize that now we're in the fall, and this is really the time where they kind of ramp up things and probably don't want us seeing everything in there. So I understand that, but I think that they'll open it up for us a little bit more.
Here's a fundraiser out there. You know how the pros, they charge people, you pay tickets and you go get to watch practice. Did you ever foresee that happening? And how many people would show up that are LSU fans on the Ponderosa to go watch them practice?
Yeah, it'd be a little tough because they just don't have very many bleachers in there. Like,
they figure out a way.
I think they could find a way to get some bleachers in there. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. But yeah, I know that they bring in lots of boosters and stuff throughout the course of fall camp and donors, and so that's
concessions. Concessions. It's a money making bonanza.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I would be down for it. But we'll see.
And I don't think I'll be appreciated till well past my time. But we just come up with ideas, just ideas. All right, buddy. Thank you for your time. We'll talk next week. We'll have more to talk. Actual football to talk about.
Yeah, we'll have some practice reports for you. Absolutely, appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. You have a great week, man. Thank you.
For you too.
That brought to you by ShopRite Tobacco Plus Discount Outlets, dude. If you can't shop right at ShopRite, you just can't shop right at all. Back to wrap up hour one next.
This is the Jordy Hultberg Show, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Here is your weather update on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
Good morning, Acadiana. It's going to be a sunny and hot start to your work week. High of 95, low of 76. Plenty of sunshine and clear skies throughout the day, and winds coming out of the west-northwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour.
ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Around Acadiana, community means supporting the businesses that make our hometown special. That's why we're proud to spotlight local companies that are certified South Louisiana.
Delta Home Center and Delta Trailer Sales, your one-stop shop for utility and cargo trailers. Heavy-duty dump and gooseneck trailers, portable buildings, cabins, decks, porches, fences, carports, and site-built metal shops. Located at Exit 7 in Carencro or at deltatrailersales.com.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana.
Imagine building your dream backyard pool without ever leaving your couch. With Duplessis Builders, you can go shop our in-ground gunite pool packages online, start to finish. Browse our pool designs, compare features, see exactly what's included, and choose the package that fits your style and budget. Once you purchase, our team takes over. From permit and excavation to gunite decking and final startup, you click, we build, you swim. Your backyard upgrade is just a few clicks away. Visit duplessisbuilders.net and buy your pool online today.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3-gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
When strength matters, go to apfabllp.com. Precision built to last, from heavy-duty aluminum structural welding using TIG, MIG, and stick to custom metal fabrication designed exactly for your project. Need safety inspections, weld analysis, or 24-hour metal repairs? Trust A&P to get the job done. For quality craftsmanship and dependable service, visit apfabllp.com. That's apfabllp.com. A&P Fabrication and Construction. Built strong, built right.
Listen up, Louisiana. Things are heating up this summer with 3 fun scratch-offs from the lottery. Scratch fast, win faster. Play Quick Sevens, win up to $7,000. Unleash the wild side of winning. Play Wild Win Doubler, win up to $20,000. Why wish for luck when you can play double your luck? Top prize is a whopping $500,000. Play all 3 Wild Summer Starters today. Louisiana Lottery, celebrating 35 years of reasons to smile. Must be at least 21 to purchase.
Back to the sports talk you not only want, but need. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Hey, we welcome you back. You know, the trade deadline in Major League Baseball is today at 5 p.m. And the big story, of course, is Tarek Skubal. It's our poll question. Is it good or bad for baseball? You know, he's just the 6th reigning Cy Young winner to be traded in the middle of the season. Excuse me. With the last such instance coming 3 years ago. Can you guess who that was back in 2023? Here's a hint. He went from the NL East to the AL West. And that is Justin Verlander, who was traded from the Mets to the Astros. And kind of ironic because now he's back at Detroit. So there you go. With that in mind, Dawson, Good for baseball, bad for baseball. Just don't care. The Scooble going to the Dodgers trade.
Yeah, the majority saying it's bad for the sport, Jordy. There are some that have suggested they don't have a strong opinion on the matter. No votes, though, for them being good for baseball. That's getting 0%.
Yeah, it can't be good. But again, like we both agree, it's not against the rules. The rules are the rules. And maybe because of this, the rules will be changed so that there is more parity throughout college, throughout Major League Baseball. I will tell you what this Dodger juggernaut has later on in the program. And one more little note before we end hour number one. You know, most golfers will never hit a single hole-in-one at any point in their lives. Raise your hand if you've hit a hole-in-one in golf. Yes, I did once. Well, on Friday at the Rocket Classic, Matt Kuchar carded the 7th ace of his career. 7th. That's tied for the most on the PGA Tour since 2005. 1 hour down, 1 to go. This is the Jordy Hultberg Show, ESPN 1037 Lafayette, ESPN 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the Tigers, the Astros, and for Sweet Spot. Sports and outdoors, more accessible, more affordable, and more fun for everyone. Hour 2 next.
Summer's in full swing, and that means hot summer savings at Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Take $12,000 off the MSRP on a new 2026 Silverado 1500, or take $13,000 off the MSRP with trade assistance. Take $2,500 off the MSRP on all new 2026 Chevy Trax in stock, or take $3,000 off the MSRP with GMF down payment assistance. Hurry to Acadiana's #1 Chevrolet dealership. Our family serving your family. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, your super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Caffrey near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive. Silverado dealer discount $6,000, GM rebate $6,000, 2012 or newer trade assist $1,000, LT or RST package 5.3 V8, Trax dealer discount $2,500, GMF down payment $500. All offers plus tax, title, and license. Excludes $436 stock, $15 notary, and $23 convenience. In stock units. See dealer for details. Offers expire 8/3/26. Claims based on current GM data.
Attention first responders, police officers, firefighters, military and former military personnel. If you have an acre or more of grass to cut, Skag Zero-Turn Mowers would like to thank you by offering you a special discount with their Simply the Brave First Responders program. Save big money on the industry's top-rated zero-turn mower at Nolan's Lawnmower in Carencro. Nolan's can offer well-qualified buyers 0% financing for 48 months. Come by Nolan's Lawnmower at 3547 Northwest Evangeline Thruway and check out the full line of Skag Zero-Turn Lawnmowers.
August 15th is the date for the 12th annual Fête du Teche boat procession down the Bayou Teche. The day begins with Mass en Francais with Bishop Desatel at 8 a.m. at St. Leo's Church in Leonville. The boats then depart for a Eucharistic boat procession ending in St. Martinville. Register your boat today or find out more information at fêteduteche.org or by liking their Facebook page. Don't miss the 12th annual Fête du Teche, Saturday, August 15th.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros had quite the weekend. They swept the Texas Rangers, securing a Lone Star Series for the season and grabbing first place in the American League West in the process. Houston has now won 6 games in a row and sits 58-55, 2.5 games clear of the Texas Rangers. They'll face the Toronto Blue Jays tonight at 7:10 p.m. right after today's Major League Baseball trade deadline. And speaking of the deadline, it was the rich getting richer over the weekend. The Los Angeles Dodgers landed Tigers ace Tarek Skubal for a package that includes 3 prospects. Skubal is the back-to-back reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League and joins an already loaded first-place Dodgers team. Clubs have until today's 5 o'clock p.m. Central deadline to make moves. LSU got some good news over the weekend on the baseball side of things. Standout high school pitcher Logan Schmidt announced that he will be attending LSU after all. Schmidt was committed to the Tigers but was selected in the MLB draft and was also considering junior college. He joins Jay Johnson's roster for the 2026 season as a left-handed pitcher. The New Orleans Saints began training camp last week and have already lost a couple of expected contributors. After Brian Brzez's knee injury on the first day of camp, the news over the weekend was that wide receiver Jalen Polk has unexpectedly retired from football at age 24. On the PGA Tour, it was Michael Thorbjornsen winning for the first time as he took home the final Rocket Classic in Detroit, Michigan. And it was a sad weekend for the McNeese family as former Cowboys defensive back Levi Wyatt passed away in a car crash. I'm Dawson Eisler, and this has been your 2-Minute Drill on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
The 2-Minute Drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
That's right. Can you dig it?
It's time for 2 hours of the best sports talk on the airwaves.
Can you dig it?
The Jordy Hultberg Show with your host, the blonde bomber himself.
Can you dig it?
Jordy Hultberg.
Hour 2 of 2, and away we go on this first Monday in the month of August, August 3rd, the year 2026. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Thank you so very much for including us in it. Pour yourself another cup of Joe. Here we go. Dawson Iserlo navigating us to the finish line in his role as producer inside our BLNA Bears studios. It's on the campus of Delta Media, where you'll find ESPN 103.7 Lafayette. Head west. Thrilled and honored to be on ESPN 104.1 in Lake Charles, where everywhere you go, thanks to our free mobile app, you can listen to us. Just download it, ESPNSouthwestLouisiana.com. Our guests appear to us each and every day via our ESPN hotline, and this hour brought to you by Legion Protective. If you got a young football player getting ready for the season, shoulder pads are some of the most important pieces of gear they'll wear. Whether it's Pee-wee or varsity, Legion pads are form-fit for the modern athlete. These pads are designed with a game-changing technology that keeps them lighter and cooler than the pads we had growing up. Check them out. Check the pads. LegionProtective.com. LegionProtective.com. It's worth a look before you buy your football player pads for this upcoming season. Speaking of pads, the New Orleans Saints are putting the pads on for the first time today. We separate the men from the boys. And we're always thrilled when Chris Rosevaglu, our Saints NFL insider, can join us. Good morning, Chris. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Jordy. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Hey, before we go into the Saints, should I go see that movie, Odyssey? You're a big movie guy. Yeah, should I go see that blockbuster of a film?
I mean, look, I enjoyed it. I had a great time with it. I think it's a visual spectacle. So if you have the free time, I'd say yes, Jordy. It's tough to find the free time with football coming up, though.
You don't think I do my homework, do you? You see, I know all about you. Anyway, all right. So Jalen Polk, what the heck? Retirement? 24? What's the backstory of that one?
Yeah, this one's kind of a surprise because according to, everything around there in that situation, it's not like he was frustrated with his role or anything or felt like he was too banged up. Just kind of looked around the landscape and thought at this age and the way his career's gone so far, it's probably just best to step away, which is unfortunate. Saints traded a late round pick to get him, kind of buying low on a former second rounder. And what I would say is the pro to this situation is that when the Saints acquired him, they didn't go, okay, we bought low on a day 2 pick. Let's leave the wide receiver room alone. No, they went out and made sure they got a Jordan Tyson. They went out and made sure they got, a really electric return man for their wide receiver room. So I still think this is in really good shape, this position room. And I don't think something like this happens if they weren't. But, it is a little bit of a head scratcher this early in camp for something like that to go down.
Maybe his love of the game just evaporated. I don't know. Very strange at 24 years old. Very strange. All right. So 4 days of camp under the belt. They had to move yesterday's indoors because of the monsoon that hit New Orleans in the morning. So they go indoors. And as expected, right? Defense ahead of the offense. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, for sure, especially after yesterday's practice. I thought, Brandon Staley's defense, specifically in the crunch time areas like the red zone, kind of bottled up that Saints first team offense. And it seems like, Jonas Anchor and Julian Blackman, that kind of safety duo, not even referring to Justin Reed, who obviously is going to play a huge role for the Saints defense. Those two have really stood out so far in camp. And I think Blackman, when he's healthy, and obviously he got hurt at the start of last year, so the Saints didn't get to see what he's capable of doing. When he's healthy, this defense is able to be interchangeable with those three safeties and get a little bit more versatile. And you're kind of seeing that in camp so far. This defense has played really well. And, we've also seen Danny Stutzman kind of have a couple of, developments in the right areas, especially when it comes to the red zone packages. So, yeah, I'd go Brandon Staley's defense has the edge right now. And I think that's kind of the pro to having a lot of continuity on that side of the ball.
How are they working offensively with the Travis Etienne, Alvin Kamara situation? How's that gone so far?
Yeah, it's funny. You still haven't seen like a clear hierarchy. Like I think Travis Etienne's going to end up being the guy. He's younger. He's more productive at this point in his career. The Saints paid him more. But they still haven't viewed it as 1A, 1B. And Kellen Moore was talking about it yesterday. And he goes, a lot of people say, well, they do similar things. Don't you want running backs who can, one's a bruiser, one's more of a finesse guy. And he said, I don't think it's a bad thing to have two running backs that I feel I could play all three downs if I want to. So I think the Saints are still trying to figure that aspect out. I think if both players are healthy, I think there is going to be a beauty to having those running backs that can play at every down, and the Saints can especially get them involved in the passing game. But right now that hierarchy hasn't really set itself. I think Travis Etienne is obviously going to be the starter, but it's still, TBD on how many touches we're going to see Alvin get, because I think it might be more than we're accustomed to seeing from, let's say, a guy who's considered the number 2 on the depth chart.
How many running backs do they normally keep on a roster?
Yeah, it's probably going to end up being, I'd say, around 4. I think that, I'm not going to get caught up in this again, but a guy like Kendra Miller has had his moment so far in camp where, the coaching staff goes, hey, we can't quit him. You got to keep him again.
Yeah,
so
right.
I would say maybe 4, maybe him and Devin Neal end up making the roster as well.
Golly, okay. A guy I keep hearing rave reviews about is the rookie wide receiver, Bryce Lance. Making plays. I like that.
Yeah, look, when the Saints took him, they knew he was really productive in college, but when they took him, it was kind of a guy where it's like, okay, let him develop behind the scenes. Maybe next year he'll really make an impact. He might make an impact this year, depending on how things go out. He's playing really well with the second team offense right now. It has been a day after day after day kind of thing with him. It's not like one day he flashes, then you don't hear from him. He is just continuing, to produce at a high level. And I think for the Saints wide receiver room, obviously Olave and Jordan Tyson are considered the guys, and Vele is going to play, especially over the middle of the field in the slot and work that area. I think the Saints are waiting to see who's going to be that fourth guy that steps up, and it might be Bryce Lance. Maybe it's not week 1, but maybe come October, mid-October, I could see this guy getting on the field at some point, especially if he's able to do it in the preseason, and we'll see if that's the case. He's going to be undeniable, and he's got the size that maybe some of the other receivers on the Saints team lack.
So we've learned a couple of things. We learned that Brian Bresee does, in fact, have a season-ending torn ACL. And Andrus Peat announced his retirement, and Taysom Hill said, I don't know about retirement, but I'm not going to be with the Saints anymore. What is Andrus Peat's legacy with the Saints?
It's funny. I think Saints fans, a lot of them will look at him negatively because they'll remember, crucial sacks that he'd given up or, missed a couple games because of injury. I think the way I look at Andrus Peat is, when he was drafted, a lot of people complained about him. At the end of the day, he gave you a really long runway. He was a multi-time Pro Bowler, pretty versatile. If you needed him to play left guard, he was playing left guard. If your tackle got hurt and you had to swing him over to tackle, he would play that. I think in today's NFL, a lot of teams would benefit from having an Andrus Peat. And I think that's probably the best compliment I could give him is guys who were unselfish, guys who were willing to play any position on the offensive line if possible. And look, he was kind of a freak of nature at his size playing guard as opposed to most tackles. So I think fondly of Andrus Peat in terms of he had a really, really good career and he should be absolutely proud of what he did. But I know Saints fans felt like they always wanted more from him, I'd say.
He was the whipping post for Saints fans constantly. Maybe premature on the Bresee thing rather. But if he is out, what does that mean for the Saints? Do they have to go out there on the and scour other teams and look for somebody to fill that spot?
Yeah, look, I think it's interesting because he does something that your defensive tackles don't right now, which is get after the quarterback. And I think for the Saints, it comes down to what's the vision. Do you end up just sticking with guys like Kristen Miller and just focus on stuff in the run from the interior? Or do you go out there and see who gets maybe cut after the third week of the preseason and see if there's anyone that kind of fits that mold? You're not going to be able to replace him for this season in terms of, his sack production. I just don't think that's going to happen. But I think for New Orleans, you're going to look around. Do you get really versatile and say, hey, maybe some downs you kind of kick Cam Jordan in when you're going after, primarily after the quarterback on maybe third and long. Maybe you can get Cam Jordan on the interior a little bit. But I think the Saints are going to have to be really smart with it. I think Brandon Staley's more than capable of figuring out how to fill that void in bunches. But at this point in time, I don't know who the trade candidate would be for the Saints, because primarily what you're losing is a pass rusher. I love Brian Brzee. I think he's a good player. I don't think, in the run defense, the Saints are going to take a hit here. It's just really trying to find a pass rusher from the interior.
Heck, if the Dodgers can get Tarek Skubal, why not? There's that guy named Aaron Donald. He says he may want to come back and play. That'd be perfect. Aaron Donald in the black and gold. Yeah, right.
Be careful, Jordy. The Dodgers get him too if you keep mentioning it too loud. So no, but yeah, look, that would be the dream scenario. But I do think we'll hear pretty soon he's going back to the Rams. I think within the next week or two, I think it's happening.
No doubt. All right, Jordan Tyson, reviews to date, 4 days in. What's the workload been like, and what's the skill like?
Yeah, the workload hasn't been great so far, especially when it comes to the team drills. I think the skill, though, he looks different from everyone else, if that kind of makes sense. Like, he's running at a different speed. He's jumping at a different height. He is a premier athlete. And I think if the Saints can get him healthy for the entire season, he's one of those players, if you could bank on a player's health, he'd be one that you'd want to, because he really is a freak of nature for this wide receiver room. And I think if he's going to be healthy, him paired with Olave and Olave's speed, that's when you start to get really fun in terms of the hypotheticals and trying to picture what this offense can be. So we'll see. He's still not on the right page, I'd say, with Tyler Shuck yet. I think they're still trying to learn the ins and outs of maybe how he takes his routes, how he cuts his breaks. But I think for the Saints and the way this offense is heading, it's still first week of August. I think they'll be perfectly fine. I think this is a player that if he's healthy, Saints fans are going to absolutely adore the minute he steps on the field.
Now that the pads come on, it's going to be intriguing to see how this offensive line with two tackles that are relatively young but getting better, hopefully, what David Edwards brings to the table, the health along the line. How is Cesar Ruiz with that chip on his shoulder? How's he going to perform going up against this Saints defensive front with Chase Young having his best season? That to me is what's going to be intriguing.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the offensive line, I think, is going to be fascinating for this Saints team. We're still not getting there. There's been some moments where, let's say, Chase Young beats Kelvin Banks on the edge, and you go, okay, it's second-year guy. Chase Young, I would argue, pound for pound, might be the best player on the Saints team with the way he's played over the last year and a half. I think this is going to be interesting because the Saints offensive line is going to be able to dictate so much of this season. Can you get the ground game going? Something that was pretty much dormant throughout all of 2025. If you get the ground game going, can you protect your quarterback and get the play action game going? And then kind of build off that. I think for the Saints, they know how vital that is. And, you don't really get to see it in full force till the pads come on. So I think that's going to be fascinating, kind of like you mentioned. And also for some of these young guys, we mentioned Bryce Lance. We mentioned, Jordan Tyson. We mentioned Kristen Miller. There's been flashes here and there. Now the pads come on. Next step, can you continue to produce and show that you're going to be a guy that's going to contribute for this 2026 roster? I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
Is there any doubt as to who the backup quarterback's going to be, or is it Spencer Rattler and period?
I think it's going to be Rattler. I thought, yesterday actually had a really good practice. I thought he was very efficient. So I think he just kind of fits the mold of what the Saints are going to look for and what any team should look for in a backup quarterback. He takes the completions, doesn't really press the issue when it comes to turnovers. And I think the Saints like that he knows the offense. He's pretty comfortable. That said, preseason, could I see Zach Wilson make a couple of throws that wows people? And I don't know, maybe you could ship him off or whatever. Possibly. But right now I'd go Spencer Rattler comfortably as QB2.
How's my tight end that came from Georgia, Oscar Delp? I really like him. I haven't heard much. I know we got two Georgia Bulldogs, Kristen Miller, who is buying groceries for people at Rouse's, which is great. But let's see what you can do on the line. And Delp, I like Delp. I hadn't heard much about him.
Yeah, it's still kind of quiet on that front. Look, I think that could change in a hurry. I think this is something that hasn't changed. I think he might be maybe the cleanest pass catcher of the group they have for the tight ends. And I think for him, it's such a hard position to make an immediate impact in. It's probably the one that goes under the radar the most. Tight ends usually you kind of see that boom in year 2, year 3. But we'll see. I think preseason for him is going to be the most vital when he goes up against second and third string defenses. Can he have his way? And I think the Saints are still very confident in him. They drafted him with a clear vision. Like, they really, really wanted him out there. And I think right now, knowing you got Juwan Johnson and knowing you got Noah Fant, there's no rush to really say, hey, we need this guy to be a week 1 contributor or maybe even a 2026 season contributor at all. But I think he's going to have to show us something in the preseason. There's been moments before in the past where we've thought maybe this tight end for the Saints can do something, and it hasn't. So I'd like to see a couple of flashes here and there. We haven't heard much yet in terms of training camp and seen anything really, but I think his time's going to come. I think he's too talented not to.
We're always better after talking to you, Chris. Can't thank you enough. And per your popcorn advice, I should go see The Odyssey. So it's thoroughly entertaining. I'm going to go watch it based upon your review, big guy. So thank you.
If you don't like it, I'll take the heat for it, Jordy.
I'm sure I will. Chris, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you got it. Speaking of football, the World Cup deal just in. Mauricio Pochettino has signed a new contract to continue as manager of the U.S. men's national team. This is an announcement from U.S. Soccer that just took place. All right, LSU baseball. The Dodgers get richer. LSU baseball got richer. Cokie Riley will explain next.
This is the Jordy Hultberg Show, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Drew Brees rewrote the NFL record books as he helped lead the Saints to a Super Bowl. Now, number 9 will slip on the gold jacket, have his bronze bust revealed, and be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And it's all happening later on this week. RP3, D-Lo, and Mesh will be there live in Canton, Ohio to witness it all with a 3-hour live special. Tune in this Friday from 12 to 3 for the Gold Standard, presented by Beal and Abear, Acadiana's hometown lawyers, right here on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station.
Here is your weather update on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
Good morning, Acadiana. It's going to be a sunny and hot start to your work week. High of 95, low of 76. Plenty of sunshine and clear skies throughout the day, and winds coming out of the west-northwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour.
Do you need more of the fellas here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station? Of course you do. So go make sure and subscribe to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications for new episodes of 4 Tire Change Podcast, where Dawson Iserlo talks all things NASCAR, or Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh. Get yourself more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station at ESPN_SWLA on YouTube.
The heart of Acadiana is its local businesses, the people, families, and companies that help our communities thrive. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Candyland Cottage is the place to satisfy all your cravings. Find delicious ice creams, fresh fudges, truffles, hot dogs, sausage po' boys, Frito pies, and homemade shakes. Visit us in Scott and Rain for a sweet treat. Plan your next birthday party or field trip at Candyland Cottage.
Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana.
Looking for a great deal on golf this summer? Head to Farm Alley Golf Course for the Sizzlin' Summer Special. Every Tuesday through Thursday, tee off anytime between noon and 3:30 and enjoy 18 holes of championship golf, including a cart for just $55. That's unbeatable summer golf at an unbeatable price. Gather your friends, sharpen your game, and make the most of your afternoons at Farm Alley Golf Course. Book your tee time today and take advantage of the Sizzlin' Summer Special, only at Farm Alley.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station. MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With MASH.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
ShopRite Tobacco Plus discount outlets. Whether you need gas for your car, tobacco products, an excellent fast food, or a good bottle of beer or wine, ShopRite has you covered. For those on the go, getting breakfast or lunch at ShopRite is terrific. Heading out on a road trip, ShopRite has you covered with everything you need for everyone in your travel party. So if you're anywhere in central and southern Louisiana, you'll find a ShopRite store near you, a one-stop shop for whatever you need. If you can't shop right at ShopRite, you just can't shop right at all.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
We welcome you back. Cajun Chef invites you to try our complete line of food products, including our cayenne hot sauce, pickle Louisiana pepper, spicy pickle, vegetables, Cajun-flavored pickles, seasonings. Oh, my. The Beard family, since 1958 in St. Martinville, Louisiana, started with one product. Now they've got 250. Why? Quality and consistency. Cajun Chef invites you to taste what's hot, their Cajun flavor. I know you'll agree. Cajun Chef is not only deliciously different, Cajun Chef is decidedly better. Did LSU baseball get decidedly better with the news that a 6'4" lefty is joining the ranks? You know, Major League Baseball normally doesn't draft guys as high as Logan Schmidt without having an agreement and kind of a backdoor deal in hand. Well, Cleveland took a chance. Logan Schmidt said no. He said no to the JUCO ranks, and now he's at LSU. Cokie Rowley sat down with head coach Jay Johnson. He joins us now to give us the inside to how the Tigers landed this guy. Cokie, thank you for your time, buddy. How are you?
Doing well. How's it going?
It's good, man. How surprised were you? Well, you know what? Once he said no to the Cleveland Guardians, I thought LSU had a better than 50% chance to get this kid rather than going to the JUCO ranks. Give me your level of surprise when you found this out.
I'm going to try to give you a nuanced answer to this because just based on a little bit of the reporting and some of the like the I don't want to say behind the scenes, but like just little tidbits I was hearing that you could sort of tea leaves that you could sort of take off. Like this was not a totally normal situation. I mean, I know heading into the draft, Logan changed agents at one point. It seemed like, in part maybe because of that there was a chance that he could end up at school. And this is before the draft. And then once they got the agent situation figured out, it seemed like, okay, he's just going to go to pro ball now as expected. And then, Cleveland picks him in the second round, and Cleveland also did something a little, I guess off the pace that a lot of people didn't totally notice. And they picked Savion Sims, who was like another high school arm who was a kind of another top 100 sort of 100-ish player in the draft, not quite ranked as highly as Logan, but someone who was pretty talented. And they picked him in the 8th round, and there wasn't a lot of those sort of guys going in the 8th round. If they were going in the 11th, and because that's when teams knew they had saved enough money to pick a guy of that sort of like high school caliber, right? And so I think they made the Sims move maybe as a sort of in case we can't sign Logan or in case we don't have the money to do it, let's get this kid. Because we don't have an agreement technically in place with Logan. Like now that you look back, you can look at that pick and say, okay, that's what they did there. I'm pretty sure they ended up signing Sims. I got to look that up again and see what happened there for sure. But between the Sims thing, what happened with the agent, there was a sort of a level of, I guess, uncertainty there that if he squinted really, really hard, you could say, okay, maybe there's a chance that he comes to school. But at the end of the day, like it's pretty remarkable that a player of this talent landed at a place like LSU, especially after he gets picked in the second round. I mean, again, like 99% of the time, a player like this just signs the team that he's picked with. I think that literally is the statistic, and I'm like 99% sure he's also the highest player picked in the draft who didn't sign with his team. So like if you look at those things, like LSU got very, very fortunate here historically and in all actuality. So I think you got to give a lot of credit to Jay Johnson. They got this over the finish line with the JUCO thing. I think that was a real threat in this situation because Logan could be he could be draft eligible again just next season if he went to junior college, and because he made this decision, now he's available. Now he won't be available for the draft till 29. So they had to convince him of that. But again, like this is a pretty remarkable coup for LSU. Not to say that Logan Schmidt's going to be their ace right away, but if they can keep him in the program, this is a rare talent and the sort of guy that's very, very hard to get to the draft.
After he said, look, I'm not going Major League Baseball, and it came down to JUCO and LSU, how did LSU ramp up their approach to Schmidt?
Yeah, I wrote about that a little bit in the story that came out in The Advocate this morning. And basically they met with him in person a few times. They ramped up the communication with him a decent bit. I think Jay and Yeski visited him the day he made his decision in person. And I think and kind of the nature of the conversations was more about LSU listening to what the Schmidt family and maybe even they thought was best for him in his future, right? This was just a very unique situation, and Jay said there's really only one time in his career where one of his highly prized high school recruits was drafted and then didn't sign and ended up at school, and that was Dylan Covey in 2010 when he was when Jay was the associate head coach at San Diego. Covey was the 14th overall pick. He was a first-round pick, but they had found type 1 diabetes in his medical, and that changed the nature of what the signing bonus was going to be and what he was going to sign for, and then because of that, he ended up at school. This is different. I don't think this had anything to do with the medical. At least that's not what I was told or what anyone's been told. So this is just, not coming to a pre-agreement, and because of that, they didn't come to a pre-agreement. He kind of ended up falling through the cracks here. So, I mean, I heard and others heard that his number, the number that he was asking for major league teams was very high, maybe even higher than his perceived worth for Major League Baseball, which this is not like $2 or $3 million. We're talking more than that. I think if he wanted 2.5 or 3, he would have gotten it, whether it was from Cleveland or someone else. So I think that's definitely a very big factor here, that he valued himself at a level that, clubs probably weren't, totally comfortable with. And, even that to a point is a credit to Jay Johnson as well, right? Because, he told these guys to stick to their guns. Major League Baseball has the money. Don't bring down your ask. Don't bring down the number that you're asking for because of that. And they nearly got Jensen Hirschkorn. They got Logan Schmidt. They got Dominic Santorelli. They got Malachi Washington. They nearly got Will Adams. These were their top recruits, and they landed most of them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
in part
Remarkable.
because they stuck to their guns. And you got to give Jay Johnson at least some credit for that.
What makes it even more interesting is how this kid Schmidt reclassified into this class. And, you don't do that unless you think you're going to be a high draft pick. So I don't know what the disconnect between Major League Baseball and him, but it's to LSU's good fortune. If he's not, you can't get enough left-handers, in my opinion. Arms and bats. I think that's critical. In his first year, do you foresee him being possibly a weekend starter, or is it more likely that he's going to be one of those long relievers for that Jake Johnson loves?
I do think I'll definitely answer that, but I do think what part of the disconnect again was just like the changing of the agent, and that means that's kind of a change in strategy as to what you're asking for from major league teams heading into the draft. And I mean, there was just a curveball, I think, for Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball got a curveball for what they thought this guy was worth and what they ended up asking. And a similar curveball was thrown by Jensen Hirschhorn as well, but the Braves were able to find the money to the point where they were able to find the money to the point where, like, they were paying him way more. They were paying him $4 million and $3 million over slot, which is really, really a lot. So I think that was maybe sort of the haul that Logan was looking for, because that was a good, pretty penny, and Atlanta had to save a ton of money to do it. Cleveland didn't have a ton of bonus pool money. They weren't one of the lower teams, but they weren't one of the higher teams either. And I think they got Sims because he was a little bit more signable. And the Schmidt thing was maybe they were calling their bluff. I think it was pretty clear that Cleveland was trying to call Schmidt's bluff here by picking him that high. And it's not the end of the world for Cleveland. They got a compensatory pick next season because they weren't able to, swing this signing. But I think the agent thing, like having a new agent just before the draft, like that's kind of a sign that, maybe they came into this draft with a slightly different strategy. But you're right though, like when you reclassify up to the 26th draft, that means like that's a pretty clear signal that you're going to try to be a top pick and start your major league career early. So it is a pretty remarkable situation. But to answer your actual question, there's a chance he makes the rotation. I wouldn't fully bet on it just because you have your three starters from last year are all returning. You also have landed Hood. You brought in from Gonzaga, the West Coast Conference pitcher of the year, or freshman of the year. So I think that like you have that talent. The thing is, he's probably the top left-handed option for a starter at this point. And that's a pretty good place to be in at the moment.
I would say
so.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Man, what a great offseason.
He's probably your number one guy who could potentially start, I'd say.
Yeah. What a great offseason for Jake Johnson. Toki, great job reporting it. We'll see. They start fall practice pretty soon, I would think, huh?
Once the school year starts, so end of the month. And yeah, it's. I mean, thank goodness something is happening soon.
Yes,
we need something.
Yes, I'm with you. All right, buddy boy. Well, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Much like the Dodgers, it looks like LSU, the rich get richer. Thank you for your time, buddy. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. If you haven't been to the walk-ons on Khalees Saloon lately, you need to check it out. The TV upgrades are unbelievable. They've completely transformed the place. That new 170-inch video wall, a game changer. There really isn't a bad seat in the house anymore. It's one of the best places in Lafayette to catch the game. So whether your team is playing or you just want great food and a fun atmosphere, Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon is the place to be. The original Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon, better than ever. Come back and see what's new. Make Walk-Ons on Khalees Saloon your Friday night light spot. Grab a tailgate platter to feel the whole crew. Go check it out. It is absolutely amazing. Come hungry. Catch the game at Walk-Ons Sports Bistro on Khalees Saloon Highway. How good are the Dodgers? Wait till you see what their lineup's all about next.
This is the Jordy Hultberg Show, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The annual Fête de Teche boat procession will be floating down the Bayou Teche on August 15th. Thousands of people come every year to celebrate their faith and South Louisiana heritage. The day begins with a mass by Bishop J. Douglas Deschantel at St. Leo's Catholic Church in Leonville before the dozens of boats depart along the Bayou Teche to St. Martinville, retracing the voyage of the Acadians over 250 years ago. There are many stops along the way for people to pray and give public witness to their faith. For more info, visit fetdedeteche.org.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros had quite the weekend. They swept the Texas Rangers, securing the Lone Star Series for the season and grabbing first place in the American League West in the process. Houston has now won 6 games in a row and sits 58-55, 2.5 games clear of the Texas Rangers. They'll face the Toronto Blue Jays tonight at 7:10 p.m. right after today's Major League Baseball trade deadline. And speaking of the deadline, it was the rich getting richer over the weekend. The Los Angeles Dodgers landed Tigers ace Tarek Skubal for a package that includes 3 prospects. Skubal is the back-to-back reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League and joins an already loaded first-place Dodgers team. Clubs have until today's 5 o'clock p.m. Central deadline to make moves. LSU got some good news over the weekend on the baseball side of things. Standout high school pitcher Logan Schmidt announced that he will be attending LSU after all. Schmidt was committed to the Tigers but was selected in the MLB draft and was also considering junior college. He joins Jay Johnson's roster for the 2026 season as a left-handed pitcher. The New Orleans Saints began training camp last week and have already lost a couple of expected contributors. After Brian Brzez's knee injury on the first day of camp, the news over the weekend was that wide receiver Jalen Polk has unexpectedly retired from football at age 24. On the PGA Tour, it was Michael Thorbjornsen winning for the first time as he took home the final Rocket Classic in Detroit, Michigan. And it was a sad weekend for the McNeese family as former Cowboys defensive back Levi Wyatt passed away in a car crash. I'm Dawson Angelo, and this has been your 2-minute drill on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Drew Brees set a new standard for quarterback play, and now the Saints legend will be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. RP3, D'Lo, and Mesh will be there for this historic occasion with a special 3-hour live broadcast from Canton, Ohio. Tune in Friday, August 7th for the Gold Standard. Presented by Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. Right here on ESPN, 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one #1, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the winner.
Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
What is dementia? Is it the same as Alzheimer's? What is vascular dementia, Lewy body, FTD, TBI, and CTE? If someone has memory loss, does that mean they have dementia? Millions of Americans ask these questions every day. I did too, and I learned. My wife Ginny developed dementia. I didn't know what to do or what was coming next. I'm Kevin Jameson, volunteer and president of the Dementia Society of America. I'm excited to offer you a free guide to understanding dementia. It's filled with facts about dementia, care planning, how doctors can help, and ways to keep your brain as healthy as possible. The Dementia Society of America is a national nonprofit, and we're ready to answer your questions. You want to live life to the fullest. I know that. Ginny did too, and I'm confident that we can help. Get your copy of the guide. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
Ready, set, dash! Get ready, Louisiana, for your chance to experience the most thrilling 90 seconds of your life. Play the ultimate dash scratch-off from the lottery. You could win up to $100,000 instantly. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win an ultimate dash shopping spree and up to $500,000. Visit LouisianaLottery.com for more details. And pick up Ultimate Dash, the new fast play game. Win up to $25,000. Must be at least 21 to purchase.
You know the routine. Eat, sleep, sports talk, repeat.
Well, up and at 'em. We're here.
Here is more daily sports talk from ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles.
All right, welcome back, Ducks. Ducks, the HVAC experts. Ducks cleans America's air from the inside out. John and Pam Delome, local owners and operators. Take their number down, 800-375-3828. 800-375-3828. Towels in the dryer. You go to get them after the cycle's over, they're still damp. When you got lint clogging your exhaust going out your house, it's a fire hazard. It's a utility bill elevator, and it's the wear and tear on your dryer itself. You'll have to get a new one sooner rather than later. Call John and Pam Delome. They've got the tools, they've got the expertise, they've got the manpower. They'll get it done. They'll get it done the right way. Call Ducks, the HVAC experts, 800-375-3828. Elsewhere around the world of sports, FIFA President Gianni Infantino's controversial plan to allow private investors to buy a stake in the World Cup is dead on arrival. The backlash has been so severe that it could ultimately result in Infantino being ousted from his post. CBS Sports has placed Tony Romo on leave until further notice following his recent arrest for a suspected operating while intoxicated situation. With Romo on leave, J.J. Watt will take his place in the booth alongside Jim Nantz. Our poll question dealing with the rich, once again getting richer. The Los Angeles Dodgers acquire Tarek Skubal, he of the back-to-back AL Cy Young Awards. All it took for the Dodgers to acquire the deadline's top prize was 3 prospects and none inside their top 4, a luxury granted by the fact that they simultaneously have baseball's best team and its best farm system. Now, with Skubal and Shohei Ohtani in the fold, the 26 Dodgers are now the first team with both a reigning MVP and a reigning Cy Young since the 2014 Detroit Tigers, who had Miguel Cabrera and Max Scherzer. And they are the first ever to boast reigning back-to-back winners of both awards. So here's their laundry list of accolades with their roster. You got to sit down and hold on tight for this one. All right. So the Dodgers' current roster, they have 50 All-Star appearances, 19 Silver Sluggers, 9 Gold Gloves, 6 MVPs, 4 Cy Youngs, 4 ERA titles, 3 Reliever of the Years, 1 pitching Triple Crown, and 1 batting title. So if they all get healthy at the same time, the Dodgers have 4 of the 8 lowest ERAs since 2022, a minimum of 50 starts. Ohtani, 2.53. Skubal, 2.64. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 2.70. And Blake Snell, 2.82. That's a preposterous rotation. You combine that with an offense that, well, guess what? Has the best average and the best OPS in the majors. It doesn't seem fair, and it's not. But guess what? They're doing what they have to do. And if you're a Dodger fan, you got to love them. Right? Man, look at my ownership. Look at my GM. They're giving us more and more where they want to win so badly. And now they are the overwhelming World Series favorites at plus 140 as they attempt to become the first team to three-peat since the 1998, 1999, 2000 New York Yankees. And the cost of that? Wow. 611 million in payroll expenses. 435.5 and then the luxury tax payments of 180.5 million. Their tax bill alone is more than 14 teams will pay their entire rosters this season. Just their tax bill. Holy cow. So with that in mind, Blake, please update our poll question.
So, yeah, along those lines, Jordy, I think people are kind of reflecting that with their feelings. You still have more than half the votes going for the Dodgers being bad for baseball. Not many people saying they're good for them, and still a portion that just aren't all that interested in what they're doing regardless.
Wow, amazing. Dodgers ruling the roost. And when it comes to college football, the SEC and the Big Ten rule the roost. And after weeks of negotiations, it appeared the Protect College Sports Act's chances of rallying the two conferences were slim, but stunning about face finally came at the 11th hour, which could send the landmark legislation to the Senate floor next week. The two conferences issued a statement of support for the bill as currently drafted on Friday night, revitalizing its fading pulse. And the key provisions were this: cap. The money that schools can spend on players now includes the original 21.3 million cap, a $22.5 million retention pool, and $5 million to be spent on women's and non-revenue sports. Those pools total $48.8 million, which is a 129% increase. The larger cap is intended to prevent circumvention by including all athlete deals with universities and associated entities, such as multimedia rights partners, corporate sponsors, apparel brands. Affiliated brands can ink deals with athletes outside of the cap, but they must attest that those deals are not school funded or directed. The bill would grant the NCAA and conferences a limited antitrust exemption to re-implement the one-time transfer exception, standardize a 5-year eligibility policy, and ban professional athletes from returning to college. And the legislation also caps power conference membership at 19 schools and requires those programs moving from one power league to another to operate as an independent for 5 years. You know, will this formality from Congress be the bullet that ensures compliance? Because schools never play by the rules. There's still a question mark about the bill's potential opposition from the plaintiffs in the House settlement. And in the other major NCAA news, college athletes who graduated high school in 2022 and exhausted their eligibility last season have been granted a federal preliminary injunction to play a fifth season, meaning hundreds of athletes who thought their playing careers were over could soon be heading back to campus. And Will Wade is hoping so. The NCAA plans to appeal the decision. So we shall see. We shall see. We talk about the Astros being hot. Yes, they've won 6 straight, 11 of their last 12. But how about the Boston Red Sox, who went a blistering 21-4 in July? That's an 84% winning percentage. And after sweeping the mighty Dodgers, they're off to a 2-0 start in August. Boston entered July in the basement of the AL East. They now have a solid grip on the AL's second wild card spot after becoming the first team in Major League Baseball history to enter a month 10 games under 500 and leave that month 3 games over 500. Man, Unbelievable. I told you earlier about Matt Kuchar recording his 7th ace of his career on Friday at the Rocket Classic, tied for the most on the PGA Tour since 2005. What I didn't tell you was he brought a young fan inside the ropes to fetch the ball from the cup. So 7-year-old Kasimir Danyuski will have a memory that will last him a lifetime. So congratulations. Well done, Cooch. Well done. And if you follow the WNBA at all, the first place Minnesota Lynx won their 10th straight game on Sunday, snapping the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark's own 5-game winning streak with a 108-100 victory in a clash between the league's 2 top offenses. As usual, the Rookie of the Year, Olivia Miles, led the way, 28 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. They've got a 4-game lead over Las Vegas in the WNBA. So there you go. Just a couple of headlines along the way. So with that in mind, we'll take our final timeout of the day. When we return, a little birthday wish. The GOAT getting a little bit older next.
This is the Jordy Hultberg Show, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Here is your weather update on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
Good morning, Acadiana. It's going to be a sunny and hot start to your work week. High of 95, low of 76. Plenty of sunshine and clear skies throughout the day, and winds coming out of the west-northwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Attention first responders, police officers, firefighters, military and former military personnel. If you have an acre or more of grass to cut, Skag Zero-Turn Mowers would like to thank you by offering you a special discount with their Simply the Brave First Responders program. Save big money on the industry's top-rated zero-turn mower at Nolan's Lawnmower in Carencro. Nolan's can offer well-qualified buyers 0% financing for 48 months. Come by Nolan's Lawnmower at 3547 Northwest Evangeline Thruway and check out the full line of Skag Zero-Turn Lawnmowers.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3-gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
BB's Auto Sales has been serving Acadiana since 1966. Cleanest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Need financing? No problem. BB's offers easy financing for all credit types, including in-house financing. Plus, they're paying top dollar for your trade. Voted top 3 dealership in Community Choice Awards 2 years in a row. Visit BB's Auto Sales, 2 convenient locations off Johnston Street and in Abbeville. bbsautosales.com. Cleanest cars in Acadiana.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
At Cajun Chef, we only use the finest products like our pickled okra and spicy pickled green beans seasoned with our special Cajun flavor. It's so great for that special Bloody Mary. For you pepper lovers, Cajun Chef has the right kind of jalapeno peppers with just the right amount of spiciness, and it's excellent to pair with some nachos, a little dab of their signature hot sauce. can make any meal amazing. Why not try Cajun Chef? When you do, you'll agree Cajun Chef is not just deliciously different, it's decidedly better. Cajun Chef.
This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, broadcasting live from the Beal and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. Back to more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Thank our guest, Glenn West, talking LSU. Chris Rosaglue with the Saints. Koki Riley with LSU Baseball. Again, we're brought to you by Legion Protective. If you're a football coach looking for the newest technologies that give your players an advantage, check out Legion Protective shoulder pads. I promise you, your competition is. These aren't the bulky pads that most of us grew up wearing. Legion pads are built with an all-new type of padding that resists absorption of water, sweat, and other fluids, keeping your athletes lighter and faster. Check them out at LegionProtective.com. LegionProtective.com. All right. Dawson, one final look at our poll question, please. Dealing with
even the
Dodgers,
comments
Tarek
section,
Skubal.
Jordy, rolling in on the idea that the Dodgers are certainly bad for the sport. But for the voting, it's 60% at them being bad for it, 40% not caring. So no votes still for them being good for the game of baseball at the moment.
There you go. All right. We'll continue to vote throughout the course of the day, and we would greatly appreciate that. If today, August 3rd, is your birthday, well, happy birthday from all of us to all of you. I hope you get to share your 24 hours with the people that mean the most to you. He won 7 Super Bowl championships, 4 Super Bowl MVP awards during his 2-decade tenure with the New England Patriots. He won one with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, 49 years old today. And it was on this day, August 3rd, we go back to 1984. She nailed consecutive perfect 10-0 scores on the vault on this day to edge out a Romanian and become the first U.S. female gymnast to win an individual Olympic all-around gold medal. It was the emergence of Mary Lou Retton, who won 5 gold medals at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, an individual all-around gold, 2 silvers, and 2 bronzes on this day back in 1984. Dawson, can't thank you enough. Can't thank all of you enough for listening in. Can't thank our partners enough for all you do. Footnotes is next. Have a marvelous Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. So long, everybody.
The best businesses aren't just businesses, they're neighbors. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino. They have the new